So the FBI is now investigating a plot against Robert Mueller. Now, on Tuesday, The Atlantic reported that Mueller, who right now is running an investigation into the 2016 election, into Donald Trump, and as well as people around Donald Trump's orbit, and they've actually gotten a lot of guilty pleas and indictments against Trump staffers. Okay, so this investigation, though, that they are looking into now on the side is a plot against Robert Mueller that alleges that a couple of very pro-Trump people, social media figures, are alleged to have attempted to pay off women in order to make up false charges against Robert Mueller. Now, these women, who are identified as Lorraine Parsons and Jennifer Taub, told journalists and media figures that they had been offered these large sums of money in order to accuse Mueller of sexual harassment. Now, Peter Carr, who is the special counsel's spokesperson, told The Atlantic, quote, "When we learned last week of allegations that women were offered money to make false claims about the special counsel, we immediately referred the matter to the FBI for investigation. And what has so far been found about this ridiculous plot is that, well, look, I'll go into the details, right? But the main thing we found is that these people who are trying to do this are incredibly inept. I mean, they're so dumb. Now, NBC News wrote earlier that GOP lobbyist Jack Berkman, who is a well-known conspiracy theorist, never heard of him till today, was openly advertising that he had proof that Mueller was a sexual abuser on Facebook. Fascinating. Now, Berkman also is the same guy who talks about Seth Rich. So that conspiracy theory, also Berkman. Great. Now, emails obtained by The Atlantic showed that the woman identifying herself as Parsons told reporters that she had been offered complete clearance of her credit card debt, as well as an additional $20,000 payment by a firm called Surefire Intelligence to make accusations of sexual misconduct and workplace harassment against Robert Mueller. Parsons said that she was also asked to sign a sworn affidavit attesting to the accusation's accuracy. So what they're doing is that they're attempting to use Me Too to bring down Mueller. Fascinating. All right. Now, though Parsons said that she did work at a law firm with Mueller in '74, the firm in question denied any records of that to NBC News. So, did Parsons actually work there, or did she not work there? Well, if she didn't work there, then obviously none of that is true, and there is no possible way she could have been the recipient of harassment from Robert Mueller. Even though she's saying that, no, I did work there, but in no way was I harassed by Mueller. That's fascinating, right? Now, nobody seems to have otherwise tracked her down, so she could have been made up, which is really, really strange. Now, Berkman says, well, that's exactly what it is. She's made up. She's fictional. Okay, well, what about the other person who is alleged to have been offered money by this firm to smear Robert Mueller? Now, that's Taub, right? Jennifer Taub. Well, now, she's actually a real person. Now, she's a Vermont law school professor who said she had never even met Robert Mueller. She also told The Atlantic that she had received emails from a Surefire account proposing a similar arrangement. So, okay, that's weird. So now, Surefire is supposedly this company that is sending out these requests, right, for, oh, hey, do you have any information about Robert Mueller that basically we can use against him? And that, okay, so you don't have any information. How do we pay you to manufacture this story in order to help bring him down? And we'll pay all your credit card debt. Well, okay, so what is this company, though? Well, I've got the details on that. Now, it turns out that this company had been incorporated about a month ago. So it's a recent corporation that was created in order to give money or to offer money for these, allegations to be manufactured. This is so strange, right? This is incredibly strange, but it gets stranger, right? Now, the company advertises itself as a private intelligence agency that designs and executes bespoke solutions for businesses and individuals who face complex business and litigation challenges. That's literally their byline on their LinkedIn. So that's the description of their own company. And they claim, oh, it was former Israeli security experts that founded this company. Now, is Jack Berkman a Israeli security expert? I don't think so. The other guy, also named Jacob Wall, is also not an Israeli security expert. He's not a super spy. None of them are. But nonetheless, they continue. Now, this is a shell corporation, and one of the other people, aside from Berkman, that are involved in this company is Jacob Wall. Jacob Wall is basically the Donald Trump #1 fan. He's the #1 fan of Donald Trump, aside from Donald Trump. Now, as the Daily Beast notes, he's also a conspiracy theorist whose past includes stints as a hedge fund manager. Now, he's about 20 years, a 20-year-old, right? Now, he ran a hedge fund, and I guess that's why he was sort of famous, and like, oh, look at Jacob Wall, he's one of the youngest person to run a hedge fund. Well, it turns out that didn't go very well for him because he had clients that had accused him of fraud. Oh, well, okay, this guy is apparently incredibly trustworthy, but he has a pretty large following from the MAGA crowd. Now, according to the Beast, Wall told them that Berkman had hired Surefire's managing partner, Matthew Cohen, to assist in finding accusers against Mueller. So now here's another person that's involved, Matthew Cohen. Now, here's where it gets really stupid. One of Wall's contact numbers led to his mom's phone and a photo of this Matthew Cohen. Now, I want to show you that photo and see if you notice anything particularly strange. All right. On top, Matthew Cohen. The picture on the bottom, that's Wall. That's Jacob Wall. All those pictures at the bottom are Jacob Wall. So wait a minute. That's the same guy. This is the same guy, just darkened. Wow, man. Okay. Again, it gets stupider. All right. There's more, right? Domain records for Surefire Intelligence website also listed Wall's email. Okay. So they got an email, a darkened picture of himself pretending to be someone else, and his mom's phone number connected to this company that was just incorporated about a month ago. This company allegedly offered two people money to falsely accuse Robert Mueller of sexual harassment. And one of those people might not even exist. Really? Okay. You guys still with me? Because already this is probably the stupidest, most complicated plot I've ever seen. But it gets dumber. Now, Surefire, again, claims that it was set up by two ex-Israeli agents, right? Intelligence, right? And that they apparently employ other intelligence experts, right? But it turns out they don't actually have any other intelligence experts at all. Matthew Cohen, I just pointed out, he doesn't exist. He's not a real person. So now there are other supposed agents who are also not real people. In fact, let's go into some of these experts listed on their website. We got more pictures for you guys. All right, let's take a look. All right. So here you have Donald Treehorn, investigator at Surefire Intelligence, LP. And as you can see, their tagline, Surefire Intelligence is a private intel agency that designs and executes bespoke solutions for businesses and individuals who face complex business and litigation challenges. All right. So Donald Treehorn. And there's a little bit of a problem with this picture. And it turns out Donald Treehorn doesn't actually exist. It's this guy, Webstagram. They just took that picture and they said, hey, that looks good. We'll make up this guy, Donald Treehorn, and we will hire him into our company. There's another one, right? So this one, Talia Yaniv, Tel Aviv station chief at Surefire Intelligence. Oh, look, Jewish, right? Ex-Israeli, apparently. Turns out, nope. Someone else. This is actually a model. Oops. Sad. Ridiculous, man. Now, of course, like all conspiracies that are created on the right wing, it gets filtered all the way through the right-wing media bubble, right? Which eventually ends up on Fox News, and then the president picks it up from there. Well, apparently that didn't happen because the Atlantic caught it early. But not early enough to where it got caught by the Gateway Pundit. You guys know the Gateway Pundit. I've talked about them before. They're not a trustworthy news source, right? Now, the Pundit, their story about this cited documents from a firm with, quote, international private intelligence. Now, they said that those documents alleged that on or around August 2nd of 2010, Mueller, then the director of the FBI, was reeking of alcohol at Manhattan St. Regis Hotel when he identified himself to an unnamed woman as, quote, a cop attending a conference in the city. When Mueller asked her to join him in his room and she refused, the story went, Mueller told her, I work for the FBI and I'm not the guy that you say no to. The documents then accused Mueller of intimidating her into coming her into his hotel room before sexually assaulting her. Now, international private intelligence, that's where this information comes from, right? Now, it sounds familiar. It came from Surefire Intelligence. Of course it did. Now, Gizmodo decided to look into that claim, as everybody has, and they found it so full of holes that even the Gateway Pundit later on issued a retraction. A complete retraction. They wrote, we took the documents down and we're currently investigating these accusations. They also added, these are very serious allegations against Jacob Wohl. We are also looking into this. And by the way, this would be conspiracy to make false allegations against an FBI agent, a government official. They might be in some serious shit with this, in serious trouble, if the FBI investigation finds something against these two. Not just Wohl, but Burke as well. We'll have to see how that shakes out. But again, this is already being looked into by the FBI. This is serious shit. But overall, though, this is probably the dumbest conspiracy I've ever come across. They are so incredibly inept. I've just showed you everything that they did. They poorly photoshopped people and had them say, well, they claim to work for me. And then the documents, I mean, it came from us, Surefire, right? That was incorporated just 3 weeks ago, around that time. It's so obvious and so fake. I mean, who do you think would take a bribe to manufacture allegations against the most well-known special counsel since Ken Starr? How dumb do they think we are, right? Who would be dumb enough to do that? Apparently nobody. And Jennifer Taub does exist. That other person, we don't know if she exists or not. Nobody else has even heard of her or reached out to her. So we don't know. They made her up too. So look, all this is just complete insanity. And that's not even addressing how dumb Wool and Berkman are for coming up with this nonsense, and the Gateway Pundit for picking it up. You know what this says to me? It says that they are scared and they are desperate, right? Trump sycophants, because that's who these two people are so scared of the Mueller probe. They're so scared. Hey, man, if you believe that that he didn't do it, that Donald Trump didn't do it, why aren't you letting this investigation go through? Oh, it's because it's a witch hunt. It's all the Democrats in the FBI, which Robert Mueller's a Republican. Rod Rosenstein is a Republican. Everybody connected into the FBI is pretty much a Republican. No, more conspiracy theories. So now these idiots that believe anything that you tell them or anything that Donald Trump tells them goes, oh, I got a brilliant idea. I'm going to go try to discredit Robert Mueller using Me Too. Because it's been so successful taking down both Republican and Democratic, and not only Democratic politicians, but funders as well. Well, we're going to use this in our base. This is a weaponization of Me Too. And a good example of it. But it's also a great example of how dumb these people are and how inept they are at actually creating a conspiracy that would actually work. So much for the right wing being full of geniuses. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.